Hello, I'm Czardus. Grab some coffee, sit back, and relapse, because today I'm going to teach you how to start and play in Cities Skylines 2. This is a beginner's guide series. It is an update since the beginning of the game. I had one of these before, and you may have watched it, you may not have watched it, but this one is updated after the Economy 2.0 patch and all of the changes they made to the simulation there. So I'm going to walk you through everything you need to do step by step to learn this game. If you like Cities Skylines, check out my channel as well, because I have lots of content about that. Now, to get a new game going, we're going to go to New Game, and then I'm going to do Lakeland, because I haven't done much on Lakeland before, but there are a few things you can know. There's different themes that just plays into some things like which train is being used when you are picking out trains and stuff like that. You can build buildings of whatever theme you want, where you can zone for different buildings in there. We'll talk about zoning later, but then pay attention to your climate as well. If it gets below 0, like some of these other ones, I think Mountain Village, no, Great Highlands. Oh, these are Fahrenheit. Okay, so yeah, if it gets below 32 Fahrenheit, then it will have snow. So we're going to have snow on this map. That will be a visual thing that will play into it, and then there will be some associated things to road maintenance as well. Latitude is Northern Hemisphere. That just determines when the snow comes. With Northern Hemisphere, it will come in the December months and that time of the year. If it was Southern Hemisphere, it would come during June and July, of course. And then buildable area, that's just how much of the map you can build on. This one will have about 49%. Of course, there's a lot of water and stuff like that, so that decreases it. Outside connections, this one has all 4 already in there. We've got highway, rail, airplane, and power, so you can import your power with this map, and I'll show you how to do that at some point too. Natural resources, there's a lot of fertile land, there's some forestry, there is a little bit of ore and a bit of oil as well. So let's go ahead and select the map, which will bring up more options here. We want to pick a city name. I'm actually going to rename this to Beginner's Guide City, just so that we have that. And then you can change your theme here, which will again just change some of the style of what you do. I'm from North America, so I'm going to do North American. You could do European as well, that is fine. Left-hand traffic would just reverse the traffic from what most of the world is. It would go to what the UK does. Natural disasters, we will keep those off. I like playing with them off. You might like to play with them on. And I'm not going to unlock anything. We're going to do very vanilla play through here. So we'll go ahead and hit start game. Alright, and here we are in the map. It has opened up, and the first thing I'm going to do is zoom out and show you, we've got dotted lines around here. This is your starting area. You want to note that you have 9 tiles here, and we can't really see the tiles, but just know that there are 9 map tiles inside this for building, and that is what you get to start with. And then also note you've got power over here on the edge that you can connect to import. We'll maybe consider that, and you've got a little bit of a start with roads too. So that's what we need to do now, or what we need to get started there. And then there's a few things we need to talk about as we're starting a city. We can talk about zoning first. There's 3 different major types of zoning. There is residential, commercial, and industrial. Residential is where people live, commercial is where people shop, and industry is typically where most people work. Or I guess I should rephrase that. Industry will create goods, and commercial will take the goods that are created by the industry and put them in shops that people can go to buy them. And so all 3 of those play into your city. But to get started, we're going to get some homes in, although I want to get a little bit of roads built first. So what we want to do is we're going to come in, and what you could do is you could do gravel roads to start, but the problem with that approach, and that was a typical approach that I recommended in Cities Skylines 1, the problem with that is that the gravel road is narrower. You see here it is half the size of the paved road. And so when you then go to upgrade, you're stuck with the alley size, or you have to take out buildings. So we are going to start with the 2-lane road. And in the road building, we have many different tool options here. We have straight, simple curve, complex curve, continuous, grid mode, and replace. And so then we can change the elevation, we can change the strength of the elevation. So you can see right now with the strength all the way up, it is 30 feet. If I lower that, it will raise it just 3 3/4 feet at a time, which is approximately, like a little over a meter, I guess. Parallel mode, and then these are all different ways of snapping. But for now, let's just build some straight roads. We're going to bring it out like this, and you can see there are circles in there. Those relate to the zoning. So if we go to here, and then we bring this over like this, you can see it filled in all of these little squares, and that is where we can do zoning. So we can come over here, and when it brings up those dotted lines, that means we're lined up perfectly to this road here. So now we've built another city block, and I think we'll get started with our zoning now. We're going to do low density housing here. NA means North American. I can't move the mouse up there to show you, but if we switch here to European, then we have European low density, and it shows up in here. Oh, because I've selected both of them. If I just switch to European, then that does European style architecture. So what we want to do is we're just going to click here, and I'll show you the different options with the tool modes too. We filled that whole thing in with the paint bucket type thing, and then there's the marquee. You can select individual squares there, or you can go paint one cell at a time. The marquee also has a little bit of snapping in there too. I typically just use the paintbrush or paint filler there, and then we're going to get a little bit of commercial in here. And what I'm going to do is I will use the marquee now, because I don't want the commerce on these little roads. I only want it on the big ones. So we're going to come in here, and we'll go ahead and do that, and I guess I'll fill in here too. And then we can come back with the low density and just fill that in there. And then we need a spot for industry. Now for industry, we want to pay attention to air pollution. So we'll go up to info views and come down here to air pollution, and you can see the arrows, they're pointing that way. We want to be aware that if we were to put, say, industry here, the air pollution is going to flow and go to our residential if we build residential over there. So we have to be careful about where we put our industry. And you can see the arrows go in different directions. Here they're pointing a little bit of a different direction, but they also get bigger. Like over here, they're pretty big, as opposed to, let's see if I can find a small spot here. They're not very big here, so that means the wind is not very strong there. I'd say that our starting area, which is here, has about medium wind strength, and all of it seems to be going in that direction. So what I want to do is we're going to get just a little bit of industry, and I think this is going to go a little bit against what I typically like to do, but we're going to put it over here because it will blow in this direction. It will mostly go to water, and I think that'll be fine. So what we'll do is we'll bring a road, and now I'm going to bring a road at an angle like this, and you can see when we go at an angle, it shows us the degree of the angle. And what I want, why I'm doing this on an angle, is I'm kind of following this shoreline a little bit. And then over here, I'm going to get another grid. And we'll continue the same size approximately. I'm not really paying too close of attention to the grid size, but I do want that grid depth. And this will give us a lot of jobs in here with industry. We'll come over here to industrial zones. We'll just get one in there. Now, the next thing we need to provide is a little bit of city service. And first, we need power. So we have two ways to get power. We can build a power station, like a wind turbine, or a small coal power plant to start, or we can just build a transformer station, which that is the approach I'm going to use. And I'm going to build the transformer here, and then we'll come in with the power line and connect there. Now, it's going to be a little bit tricky. We have to come this way. It's going to be mad at me. Of course. You come in here to do some basic things happen, but then we have to go around like that. It kind of looks a little bit funny, but it will work. Now we can import our power. And the other thing is that you can see we have that yellowish line going underneath. That is the power line. It is underneath the road, and so we know that all of that is connected now. So we have power. Then we need water. And water, we need two things. We need to have a water tower or a water pumping station. If you click on the water pumping station, you can see the flow of the water, and we'll talk about that in a minute, or a groundwater pumping station. I think what we'll do is we'll start with a groundwater pumping station. And I like these because they pump right out of the ground. You don't have to worry too much about water pollution, especially if you get it way over here, which is what we're going to do. We're going to put this over here after we get a road in place. But if we put it over here, where we're getting our industry, the industry is going to cause ground pollution, which can contaminate our water supply if it gets into here. So it would only contaminate this water resource, and so we don't want to pull our water from there. We're going to pull the water from over here. Again, we're going to do a different type of road here. This time I'm going to do continuous, which means that when I start this, we're going to click and then click again. And as we're going, you can see we're making a curve, and then it just continues making the curve. It will keep this part, the connection between the curve we're building and the previous one will continue at 180 degrees, and it'll be a nice continuous road out here. I've kind of avoided the trees a little bit, and I like the way that looks. Then we can come in here and we're going to get a little gravel road. I think will be good for a service road coming over to this groundwater pumping station, which we will put right there. Now for the pipes, you can see we've got blue and yellow. Yellow is the sewage and blue is the incoming water, and you can see that is connected everywhere. It doesn't go across the bridge, so that's one thing to note. If we want water to go across there, we will have to build a separate pipe using these things, the combined pipes. But then the other thing we need is a sewage outlet. Eventually we can have a water treatment plant, which will process that sewage and then allow it back in. But for now we have to do a sewage outlet, and that has to go into our water here. And that is where these arrows come into play. If we were to have a water pumping station, we would want to make sure that the sewage is not flowing towards the water pumping, because then we would get water sewage in our water supply. But since we are doing a groundwater pumping thing, we don't have to worry about that. But we do need to get a sewage pipe and connect it from here to here. And it's a little bit tricky. You want to make sure that you get it. You can see it snaps a little bit to that spot, but it is a little bit tricky to make sure it gets in the right spot. So that is in there. We have everything we need. We can go ahead and hit play. So I'm hitting spacebar, and that will unpause the game, or you could go down to the corner here and click that button yourself. Or over here you can speed up the game speed, or you can use hotkeys, which is what I use. I have the 1, 2, and 3 set to the game speed. I don't recall if those are the default or not, but you can set those in the game options. And you can see we're getting a lot of buildings coming in. They're being built. We've got some industry coming in, and we're going to let that happen and then talk about it. So we're getting more people moving in, and now I'd like to talk about development points, which you can see we've gotten some experience. And if you hover over here, you can see the progression, and we're getting experience points based on just people living in the city and being happy, and we get things for building as well. If you hover over here, and then you put the, actually it doesn't show what we get for that, but if we were to build a building, I believe it shows out. If you build the transformer, we got 100 points for that, and of course if you built a power plant you get more for that, and things like that. So that gives us experience, and eventually we will get to 750 points, and then we will reach a milestone. The other thing we want to pay attention to over here is the money, and we are currently losing money. Our tax revenue is not enough, and we're getting more people are moving in, but I think we should probably build some more residential. You can see we've got demand here for all three zoning types. Green is residential, blue is commercial, and yellow is industrial. So we will go ahead and build more of that. Let's go ahead and get just one more block here. We want to do straight and bring that along here and just do the same grid-like thing here. And then we'll get more residential. That will bring more people in, which will spur more development points as well. You can see now that we had that in there, we had demand go down. If you want more detail, you can click here and it will show you that you have demand going up because you have unoccupied buildings, availability of jobs, free workspaces, and happiness. Then we have local demand for more commerce, we have unoccupied buildings in industrial, and we have labor available. Actually, that is negative, so we might have too many. Yeah, we need more people. We've got low unemployment. You can tell that by coming over here and seeing 11 employees out of 48. So industry is struggling. Right now, we want to get more people. I want to try to build around some of the forestry, and that is going to make the road layout look a little bit more realistic. So what I want, I think, if we come along here, I'm doing the continuous road again. I want to, and then we can get, this road could go another block here, or like another bit here. Let's go this way. Actually bring this all the way down. This will be a smaller block, and actually let's now bring this out this way. Sometimes I like to just kind of tweak things as we go. I don't like how that looks. Bring this 180 degrees that way. There we go. Then bring this out as well. And look at that, we have unlocked milestone 1, so we are a tiny village. For that, we get a small grant of 25,000. We get development points. We get 1 development point, and we get 3 expansion permits. Let's go ahead and look at the progression panel here. So these are the different milestones that we can get, and at Tiny Village, we've unlocked everything listed here. We have a loan limit. We can take out loans. I do not recommend loans in any situation unless you really know that it is going to be worthwhile, because loans are always bad in any management game. Map tiles, we can now go in and we'll talk about that in a minute. City budget, we can look at that, and taxation. City statistics is always fun to see. Service budgets, we can adjust. We can do a little bit of medium density zoning for residential, and we can do vegetable farming, which is going to be key. We're going to probably get rid of our generic industry and start switching to vegetable farming if we can, and coal mining as well. And then we've got a little bit more roads that we can build. We can go into more development trees as well. Development trees, if we click here on development trees, we can unlock things. We have 1 point that we got for that. We're not going to use it yet because we want to save it until we know that we need stuff. But you can see there's more trees that we can get to, and you need development points to unlock things, kind of like a tech tree. And then of course achievements are just things that you can use for adding challenge to your game. So you can see these guys have not enough workers, but let's come in here and we're going to click on natural resources just to see what we have. We've got some over here, fertile land, so we could get vegetable farms out there. We have some trees in here which could be forestry, not a ton of forest there, and we don't have any ore. So what we can do, we can come in here and let's see, what can we do? We can do stone mining, we can do vegetable farming, and grain and livestock as well. So let's go ahead and we'll get some of that. Let's take out the zoning here. I'm going to pause because this is a bit risky. We're taking out a lot of jobs here. And what we're going to do instead is take this back out, and we're going to get some specialized industry in here to try to avoid some of that pollution. So we'll do stone mining. Stone mining can be set up anywhere. It does not need to be on a resource. But we'll come in here and we'll get a little bit of a quarry. So once we've placed the building, you can see that it is giving me these lines, and we need to go around and click and create the area that will be the stone mine. And you can see this darker circle around it. That means like that is as far as we can get from the main building. But we're going to come along here, and I'm going to try to avoid some of the trees and some of the housing too. Bring it like that, and then along the road and back like that. So that will be our stone mine. And then we can do some vegetable farming. We'll get one, it's not very much space, but we can get that here. Although I think what we'll do is we'll do grain, and that has to be on fertile land. So what we'll do is we'll bring it right along like that, and then we'll follow this path, just clicking periodically to get it along that. The livestock farming can go anywhere, so we'll go ahead and put a livestock farm here, and all of these will be giving us some jobs, which is why I'm putting them in here, because now we can have these instead of generic. So now we can unpause, and these should fill up with employees. We are making people mad by, like I said, getting rid of the other jobs. We can click on this now, clicking on the population, and that will show us unemployment. This is a key metric that I use, and if it's below 10%, I use that as a sign that I need to add more people. If it is above 10%, and this is only in the early game, as the city gets bigger, the changes you make will have a smaller impact, and so I kind of tweak that percentage a little bit more, maybe come down to about targeting 5% unemployment, but 0%, we're at 10% right now is what I want to do. So we're at 0, we need to add more people. That's what we will do. So we are continuing to build out this way, and I like that we've got this road coming off here now. I'm going to continue to build a medium road here, and we'll get this right in the middle there. I think what I want, yeah, we'll keep going straight here for a while, and then we can come off this way. We'll get this road down like that, and then we'll bring this farther over to, say, there. Come over like that too. So now we're getting more space for, bring this one, it looks like, okay, if we click here, you can see contour lines. Yep, we've got a hill here. So for hills, what I like to do is I like to follow these contour lines, because that gives you another little thing in your terrain to help you build a more realistic looking city. Because a lot of roads will be built along contour lines to maximize the building space. I'm going to take that part of the road out. I don't know that we'll, I think we will end up with a road that way, but I don't know yet. But then we can come in here, and I actually come all the way down here. Then this can go, yeah, I like that. So now we've got a lot of space. We can come in here and we will add lots of residential in here. I'm going to leave this space open because we might want to put like a school there or something like a school. Oop, we don't want to fill all of that. I'm still reserving the main road for commercial zoning. And so we're going to let this fill in, and then we'll check that unemployment rate again. And while that is filling in, you might have noticed that we have an icon over here that says waiting for a hearse. Now, a lot of city services like medical and even garbage management, you can wait to do those until you absolutely need them, which is pretty important because, again, our budget is negative. We don't have a balanced budget, and that is concerning. But we do need a cemetery. A lot of things people will go to other cities, they'll go through the external connection for. I do recommend getting a cemetery because a cemetery isn't all that much money. It comes in here and it does have upkeep, but it's not terrible. And let's just go ahead and build the cemetery over here like this. And that will give us a lot of experience points. It costs quite a bit of money, but it will give us some hearses, and I think it's a realistic thing to have early in the game. Now, I do wish there was a smaller one because this is a huge cemetery for such a small town, but it is what it is, and we'll just use what we're given. Now, this is filled in, so now let's come in here and we can check unemployment. Unemployment is still below 10%, so let's keep adding more people. And what I want to do now is we'll continue with this. So I have decided that we will have a road that continues out this way, and I want it to continue following this contour line a little bit, and then maybe come down into, there's like kind of a valley. It's, you know, not super big hills here, but we can bring this road up like this, and then maybe it curves along like that. So now we've got a natural feeling road along there, and then maybe, just maybe, we get another road along this contour line a little bit, comes down the hill slightly. And then we can bring, I don't want to add another road there, up like that just to have a little bit more access in there. And that, I don't think it was very steep, but let's double check it again. You can see in the middle of the road that we're building, like around here, it shows 6%, plus 6%. That is the grade of that section of road from the start to the finish. And so that is pretty good. I'd try to keep my roads under 10% grade because I think cars can easily handle that sort of grade. This road is going to continue along like that, and we'll bring, oops, don't want that. I'm hitting B for bulldozer, by the way. And then we can come in here and get this road like that. I think we'll get one road coming off here to the other side of the hill, and there we've got a lot of space for residential, so I'll go ahead and fill a lot of that in with zoning. Now, as I was doing that, we have unlocked a signature building, the Rock Musician Mansion. So we'll talk about that real quick. If you come down here to signature buildings, you can see there's lots of different types, but the Rock Musician Mansion can increase the well-being, which is helping the happiness within a certain distance. And so we'll go ahead and put that like right over here, which will just generally raise the like kind of the desirability of this area for homes. And now as these homes are coming in, we have 31% unemployment, so we are above my 10% threshold. So I'm going to come to company profitability, and you can see the profitability of the different types of jobs. So we have commercial profit is at 65%, industry is at 100%. So I want to add industry because adding competition to commercial would possibly lower that profit further and make the commercial operations in the city have a bit of a struggle. Look at that. They are already struggling because we don't have a ton of people to shop there anyway, but we can add more industry. And these are full of employees. So what I wanted to do is figure out where we could fit more farms. I think I will put one in here. I like doing more farms. We don't have fertile land here, but we can get another livestock farm here. We can come out to like there, and then we can click on that. It does say overlapping, so it doesn't want me to put that there, and we've unlocked small village. I'll look at that in a moment. But yeah, it doesn't want me to join that spot, so the trick is to toggle off snapping, and then you can click very, very close to that fence. Come along there, and then we will turn snapping back on and follow the road again. Right, so now we have unlocked small village. So that is this milestone. We have increased our loan limit. We have production panel, which is in the budget. We'll look at that in a moment. We can do more medium density housing. This is a little bit different than what we unlocked last time. We haven't talked at all about medium density zoning, but we will. Textile fiber farming, that's cotton, and then education as well. So we could start doing some schools. Now this will add only 9 jobs, not a lot. So we do need to get more industry in, and it's quite possible that we will need to add actual generic industry again. I really would rather not. So I think what we'll do is we'll bring this road, this dirt road, a little bit further in, like this. And then we can come in here and we can get forestry industry, and we'll squeeze that in right here. So we're going to bring this along like that and try to avoid the road, turn off snapping, come along like that, and hopefully it won't get too mad. We don't have the tile there, so we have to go along the border there, and we can bring this right in like this. Don't want to overlap the farm, but we can come down here and turn snapping on right now at the end here and snap to that spot. So now we've got timber back in here. We have stone. We've got more space for timber, but I think what I'll do is I'll get another stone farm back in here. Although I think I recall we had natural resource here. Yeah, there's ore there, and we have unlocked coal. So let's go ahead and get a coal mine back in there. Bring this road a little bit further, and then we'll curve like this. And then we can come in and get a coal mine. And we'll maximize what we can do by getting it here. And not having that service building block too much of the actual resource here. Come along here like that. Alright, and then we can come along like this and get that in all the way over here and get as much of that resource as we can. And so that will give us a coal mine, and of course it gets a giant ugly building, but that is okay. It's going to give us more workers, and that will help us as well. Now, I feel pretty good about where our city is at for a very early start. We'll talk more about things in the next episode of this beginner's guide. I hope you have found this useful so far. Let me know in the comments if you found it to be helpful for you. Thanks for watching. Click on the video on the screen. It should be that next episode. If it's out, members get early access to those, so be sure to be a member for only $1 a month. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Take care.